Hi, today I'm going to talk about that seemingly impossible passage to play and how to practice and how to prepare it. You know, so often as pianists we rely on patterns that are predictable and memorable, but many times we run into a piece by a composer, sometimes Hindemith, sometimes Poulenc, uh, many others that will write pieces and write passages that are beautiful, wonderfully creative passages, but you know, our minds just have trouble computing them, and that makes it very difficult for us. This is a piece out of a trombone accompaniment that I'm working on right now and preparing, and I'm just going to take through a couple steps of things that I do to be able to play a passage and be able to hopefully execute it properly that supports in a collaborative way with the soloist that's playing this piece. This is a section. Now the tempo of this isn't real fast, but the notes themselves are challenging. I want to take you through some basic steps. So first, I want to make sure that I'm playing the proper notes. I'm going to take it very slowly. I'm checking notes. I use the iPad many times. This is the time I'll turn the iPad on its side so that I can have the passage showing up nice and big in what I'm playing, and I can make sure I can see those little accidentals. On this third measure, you can't see it on the camera, but on the third measure, I'll describe it here. It goes to where every single note has an accidental, and actually almost every note. There's about 3 of them in a series of 16 that don't. And then also every single note has an accent or a staccato. So there are a lot of little markings. And this passage continues in that way. So it's a combination of accents and slurs and staccatos and accidentals that I want to make sure, I want to try at least to make sure that it's accurate, that it's expressing what's written down, and also supporting the soloist. So I'm just going to take it slow. This is written at a pianissimo dynamic. It's going to take it that far. That's only 3 measures. There are 5 more to go, but we're just going to go for a little. It's four more to go actually, but we're just going to take a little bit of that. I always believe in small passages, working on the small. So this first measure is easy. And luckily it happens twice, so my job's very, very easy there, and that's wonderful to notice when you're practicing. Usually a hard passage isn't all hard. It comes to the measure that is difficult to play. And so here's my measure that's giving me trouble. I'll go ahead and turn the page and let you hear a little bit what keeps going on. And of course, I want to go right to the speed that's going, which is this crazy. And go da 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 da. It gets really, really excited, and it's like I'm so excited to play it that way. But I need to stay back in this slow, kind of painstakingly slow, but it also helps me make sure I'm playing those correct notes. So I'm just going to keep working that a little bit. There's where I'm having a trouble. So I am going to stop right there. I'm not going to allow myself to make that mistake. I'm going to work. That's right at the page turn. It's probably a little bit of a psychological thing, maybe a little bit of a physical thing of making sure that page is turned. If I had printed out pages, maybe that would solve the problem. I always work with the iPad. It makes the overall page turning better. So I think I can work that out and just fix it. So I'm going to start with the 4th beat of that measure, and that's where the page turns. So I'm just going to go that far. It's 2 beats and 1 note, and it's going over a page turn. We get to the right spot here again. troubles, when we have those problems, it means I just need to slow it down and figure out how to get that muscle memory. Even though it's not a predictable passage, I still can have muscle memory. It's really, really easy when I play it slow. How about if I add somewhat of a swing pattern to it? Now I'm starting to have it memorized. And that's a really good thing because I don't have to worry as much about the page turn. And it makes life a lot better than... To take the time that it will take me to learn this passage, because it is going to take a lot more repetitions. This does take time. It's not going to be something that would take place in like a 5-10 minute video. But let's say I've gotten that to the point where it's feeling a little more comfortable. I'm going to go ahead and let my right hand lead. Now the lucky thing in this particular passage is that it is octaves. If the left hand's just imitating. That's not the case. In fact, there's many passages I've played in Hindemith and so forth that it's two independent things going on, so you don't have that luxury of just imitating and having one hand lead. You need to have two independent hands that know their parts well. But in this case, it's the same in both hands. I'm just going to go ahead slowly. Satisfied with that. There's a lot of problems going on second measure before the end, and I need to take the time to go slowly. One of the biggest things that is a good time to make sure you're agreeing on fingering. Just because I have the right hand fingering figured out, I have not taken time with the left hand and make sure that I'm playing the same fingering. I'm a strong believer in writing things in. If I miss a note one time and it's an accidental, I don't want to keep having that same accidental. Write it in, put some marking in so that you can remember that. It's okay. And with the iPad, I can erase some of those later once I really know it, if it seems like it's getting cluttered. But if I'm missing something, why make the same mistake over and over? Patterns are a wonderful way to practice. And so forth, the swinging ace. How about the sets of 4? And each of those. And again, I need to take the time. That's going to be the biggest challenge for any pianist, to take the time. We can all have the idea of how to do it. We can know how we want to do it, but that doesn't mean we've spent the time in doing it. A passage like this will take me some time to go through. But if I take slowly going through each section properly, getting the notes, getting the rhythms, getting the accidentals, getting the dynamics, getting all those parts, and building that muscle memory, so that even mental memory going on, that I'm remembering the notes and seeing what I'm doing, and it becomes so much easier, and you'll have a passage that just will be really, really exciting when you perform it. So just some ideas of how I work. They're simple, they're really basic, they're not my own, they're passed down from many, many other teachers. But I just like showing some of the things I do to help make practicing easy. Keep practicing.